Great to have you with us this afternoon. Explosions echoing through the night sky over Doha today as Iran launched strikes against U.S. military personnel just southwest of the Qatari capital. Witnesses said they saw what appeared to be missiles. Iran said it attacked American forces stationed at Qatar's Al Udeid air base. The retaliation comes after Tehran vowed to respond to unprecedented U.S. airstrikes on its nuclear facilities Saturday. The spokesperson for Qatar's foreign ministry condemned the attack on X. The Post read in part, quote, "We consider this a flagrant violation of the sovereignty of the state of Qatar, its airspace, international law, and the United Nations Charter." The official added Qatar reserved the right to respond to the Iranian missile barrage. And President Trump has raised the question of regime change in Iran, and senior U.S. officials warned Tehran against retaliation. Here's a closer look.
President Donald Trump on Sunday raised the question of regime change in Iran, following U.S. strikes against 3 key nuclear sites in the country over the weekend. Trump wrote on Truth Social Sunday afternoon that, quote, "It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change?" That appeared to be a departure from messaging from top officials in his administration. Earlier in the day at a press conference at the Pentagon, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the U.S. strikes in Iran were not a preamble to overthrow its government.
This mission was not and has not been about regime change. The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel.
Vice President J.D. Vance took a similar line to Hegseth on the question of regime change.
Well, first of all, we don't want to achieve regime change. We want to achieve the end of the Iranian nuclear program, John. That's America's objective, and that's what the president has set us out to do.
U.S. General Dan Kane said Operation Midnight Hammer involved 7 B-2 bombers, which flew for 18 hours from the United States into Iran to launch 75 precision-guided munitions in total on 3 nuclear sites. Tehran has vowed to defend itself. After the U.S. strikes, it traded more volleys of missiles with Israel that wounded scores of people and destroyed buildings in the commercial hub of Tel Aviv. But it has not yet targeted U.S. military bases or choked off oil shipments that pass through its waters. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Sunday no more U.S. strikes were planned unless Iran responded. In an interview on CBS, he said, quote, "We have other targets we can hit, but we achieved our objective. There are no planned military operations right now against Iran unless they mess around."
And the White House this morning responded to Trump's comment about Iran's regime change. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the president was simply raising a question. Let's take a listen.
The president's posture and our military posture has not changed. The president was just simply raising a question that I think many people around the world are asking. If the Iranian regime refuses to give up their nuclear program or engage in talks, we just took out their nuclear program on Saturday night, as you all know, but if they refuse to engage in diplomacy moving forward, why shouldn't the Iranian people rise up against this brutal terrorist regime? That's a question the president raised last night, but as far as our military posture, it hasn't changed.
The Pentagon